Hello, and welcome to the Totally Eric Roberts podcast, a podcast about the cooler Roberts and whatever the hell I want it to be about. My name's Mary.
And my name is Luke.
And yeah, that's who we are.
Yeah. Ready for another episode about the acting legend Eric Roberts, not the TikTok star Eric Roberts, the pretender, the faker, the loser. I'm sorry, I get into this rant every time this comes up.
Every time.
I know, I need to stop doing it. I'm sorry, I'm sure this other Eric Roberts is very nice, but...
We've been doing this for nearly a year.
I know, but compared to the Eric Roberts, I'm sorry, everyone will just fall short, especially if you've got the same name. You've got a high standard to live up to.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get too deep into today's topic... I forgot to mention something.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. And because when we were talking about Runaway Train, I got just really invested. And I forgot to mention, this was a couple months ago as well, that Eric Roberts is going to be doing a memoir.
Oh, is he now?
Yeah, and I've read a few articles, and he said what he wants to put in there and everything. And I'm quite excited. And you want to know something? I hope he does his own audiobook.
Oh, that would be a treat, wouldn't it?
I know. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Well, if he does it. If you're listening, Eric Roberts, in all seriousness, please do your own audio for the audiobook, because I will purchase it. And I will also purchase the text version just because you deserve it. Do you have any more recent news?
Well, the most recent news that I have found is Eric Roberts gave an interview where he said he was more than willing to appear in a movie alongside his sister, Julia Roberts. And we all know that Julia Roberts is a very talented person. She's very famous. She's been in some excellent movies. She's very well regarded.
Yeah.
But she's not Eric Roberts, is she? She's not. She can't live up to it. So actually, I think it was incredibly charitable of him to offer her a part in one of his upcoming movies and to also have her play a sibling of his. That's tremendous charity and generosity on his part. No word yet on what the movie is or what it might be or even who else is attached to it. But I'm sure when it comes out, it will be fabulous.
I have an idea.
Okay.
So, I love, the Ocean's movies, right? I think... If you've watched the new Ocean's movies, you know that Danny Ocean has died in the
What?
Yeah. He's died in there. That's the story that they're going with. If they ever do another Ocean's movie with the guys, even though I love the women, the lady version, can't get enough of that. I think Eric Roberts should be the main star instead of George Clooney. Because it would give you a different type of, I don't know, it would be so different because he could be good or villainous.
Are you envisaging him being married to Julia Roberts? Because that would be kind of weird.
No. So this could be their brother-sister thing.
I see, okay.
She could bring her brother in.
It would be awkward having to rename the franchise Eric's 13 or Eric's 14, though, wouldn't it? Do you think people would know? I mean, I'd know. So, what am I talking about?
Anything could be done.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Yeah. Do you have any other news?
No, not really. It's been a quiet week for Eric Roberts news.
I mean, it really has. And I've been quite busy at work, so, yeah. Apologies if it's not the best. We're still at 700 plus movies. We haven't got to the 800 mark yet, but we will get there.
Yeah.
In time. Probably not very long, because he's been doing some short films as well, which is awesome. Those count.
Yeah, so I hope you're looking forward to another 680, at least 680 episodes of Totally Eric Roberts, because we're going to cover each thing.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk about the music videos he's been in from The Killers.
Oh, well, hang on a minute. I thought we were talking about his appearance in SVU. Special Victims Unit.
Well, was that in 2000 or 2001?
That was, God, I don't even know. I'm going to have to look this up. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm clearly a fake Eric Roberts fan because I don't know. It was 2001. Well done.
Yeah. So, let's talk about all three actually, because
Were they done at the same time?
I believe the Mr. Brightside video was done in 2003 or 2004.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember exactly what year.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't mind the Killers. I remember listening to them before they were famous.
Yeah, we're gonna go see them.
Yeah, we are going to go see them, yeah. But I don't really know an awful lot about them, frankly.
Yeah, you know more about the music because of me.
Yeah.
Than their newer music. But the thing about the reason I wanted to talk about two videos in particular, Mr. Brightside and Miss Atomic Bomb, is because it's a story. It's a love story.
Oh, yes.
I know it's not the best love story, as in like it's not the happiest love story. I mean,
No, it's not.
But the best thing about those videos, other than the music itself, is obviously Eric Roberts.
Yes, yeah. So why don't you set the scene for us? So we'll start with Mr. Brightside. We know, obviously everybody knows the song, surely. Everybody knows the song by now, surely. Yeah, I'm not going to sing it because I can't really sing. But why don't you set the scene for us, Mary? What's taking place in the music video?
Camp.
Well, it's not. They're in like some sort of bordello.
Yeah.
And there are ladies there dressed in old-fashioned clothes, big wigs, lots of makeup, powdered faces.
They're dancing.
Yes, they're doing provocative dances that involve showing their bottoms.
Yes, and Eric Roberts and Brendan Flowers are playing checkers.
Yeah, they have some sort of rivalry, don't they? So Eric Roberts seems to be like the pimp of this bordello, or the big boss.
Yeah.
And he's kind of sat there in the chair watching his ladies get it on with clients. But there's one that he clearly favours, the blonde-haired one.
And it's Brendan Flowers. Excuse me, I called him Brendan earlier. I don't mean to. And I'm I'm a big fan of Brendan. For some reason, I was thinking of Brendan Urie. Anywho, Brandon Flowers wants this lady.
Oh, yes, and they steal a kiss behind the curtain, don't they? Mm-hmm. But guess who catches them?
Scandalous.
Eric Roberts catches him. You see him peeking out from behind
and he throws an apple at he throws an apple at some point, and then he starts to eat an apple.
Yeah, I think it's a different apple, though.
Yeah, because one's red, one's green.
Yeah, so he throws the red one, he eats the green one. But what I wanted to get at is when he spies on them canoodling behind the curtain, he doesn't have like a look of sadness or despair. It's just kind of like, typical. All right. Because I guess he knows that even if that dancing girl does love Brandon Flowers, she's going to stay with him because he's her boss.
That's right.
And what happens throughout the music video? She does her dance. She dances provocatively with other clients while making eye contact with Brandon Flowers.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts snaps his fingers and she goes running over to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the guy does not get the girl at the end.
No, he doesn't. Eric Roberts was right.
Yeah, which takes us to Miss Atomic Bomb.
Well, you've kind of skipped over some important stuff. I know you briefly mentioned that they play a game of checkers.
Oh, that's the best part of the video.
That is the best part of the music video, yes. So you have Eric Roberts and
Brandon
Flowers having like a fierce stare down.
Mm-hmm. And you get a kiss from Eric.
Well, you're jumping ahead again. You're not actually describing things in the sequence of events. So you have them having their stare off, and you realise the camera pans out, and you see that they're playing a game of checkers, like a childish game of checkers with like red and yellow plastic pieces.
Yeah, that I now need to have.
And Brandon Flowers makes a move that seems to cause Eric Roberts a little bit of concern, and he's kind of scowls and makes his move.
Which doesn't make sense.
But his move wins the game, and Brandon Flowers flips the checkerboard over in despair and disgust and anger. And Eric Roberts blows him a little kiss.
Like, mwah.
Yeah,
that's part of the whole entire video.
That was a big F you, that kiss.
Yeah, like, excuse you?
I guess they were playing checkers for the girl, which is a bit odd.
I just feel like maybe Eric Roberts wanted to play checkers, and then they just started filming.
Maybe that was a behind-the-scenes moment that they just thought, this is so good, let's just cut it in. Seems like Brandon Flowers is a sore loser, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right, can we talk about Miss Atomic Bomb now?
Well, have we covered everything from Mr. Brightside?
They're babies in that.
Yeah, they do look quite young.
They
But this
are
was from
babies.
This was from like 2003, 2004, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Because I was in university when this song hit big, and a lot of people might not know this about the Killers, but they were not very popular in the States when they first came out. Nobody knew of them, really. It wasn't until they became big in the UK that they became a hit in the US as well.
Yeah.
And we went to see Brandon Flowers, didn't we?
Yeah.
What, 7 years ago, something like that?
Can I say this? And it's not just because we have a podcast about him, but I want to say that Eric Roberts probably had a lot to do with the popularity because of that music video.
Maybe.
I mean, it has to be said.
Eric Roberts is very clearly generous with his time because,
Yeah.
as we all know, he is the hardest working actor in Hollywood. He's been in nearly 700 movies, wasn't that
Over
the case?
700
Over 700,
movies.
excuse me. And a lot of them are just small parts, like his part in the Dark Knight.
I mean,
The Dark Knight.
the movie about the action figure.
Yeah, with Christian Bale, where he's doing that.
Oh, the machinist.
No, not The Machinist. No, not American Psycho. It's The Dark Knight.
Oh, he was playing the mob guy. Is that what
He
you're
was,
saying?
yes,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
didn't have a substantial role. He was in a
No.
couple of scenes with Heath Ledger.
I don't remember much of that movie.
Well, the most memorable thing about it is when Christian Bale comes out in his black bondage outfit and starts roughing people up and throws Eric Roberts off of a rooftop, and he lands heel first and breaks his knees.
Yeah,
Terrible. Terrible.
What was the deal with the Knight's outfit?
I have no idea. No, I don't know if you probably don't know this, but The Dark Knight was a sequel to a movie that came out a few years before, and they gave the Knight's backstory of him being upset about his parents being murdered in front of him, and played by Tom Wilkinson. But he was very rude to him and had his boys rough him up, and he sacrificed his coat to a homeless man.
His coat?
Yeah, his coat. He gave up his coat to a homeless man.
Okay.
And obviously, now without a coat and it being cold, he needed to go get another one. So he went to
Yeah.
Tibet. I think it was Tibet. He went somewhere in Asia anyway. Ended up going to prison, possibly for trying to steal another coat. But
Okay, I think
yeah,
I know what movie.
and Liam Neeson was there, and Liam Neeson.
It's the thing about the boy who had a lot of money.
Yeah.
But acted like he didn't, and then he went to Tibet to do stuff, and
Well,
he ended up in jail.
His wallet was in his coat, so he couldn't pay for anything. So he had to go to Tibet.
Shit.
Anyway, he goes to Tibet, goes to prison. Liam Neeson gets him out somehow, and he studies with these ninjas who give him a black outfit, and he accessorizes it when he comes home with a cape and a hood with pointy bits on it, and he starts terrorizing
But
the
Eric's not in
gangsters.
that.
No, he's not in that. But I'm just giving you the context from the first film
Yeah.
to illustrate what The Dark Knight is about.
That's probably why I can't remember it.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if you've seen it, frankly, based on your reaction.
Probably not.
But anyway, Eric Roberts,
Generous with his time.
very generous with his time because he was in this big movie, but he was only in a couple of scenes, probably because he was too busy shooting music videos and being in episodes of TV shows.
Yeah. Good music videos, by the way.
Oh, yes, yeah. And do you know what? You probably know this already, being an Eric Roberts massive super fan, but he is also lending his voice to animation.
Yeah. So you talked about The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm not mistaken, because we tried to watch this show,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, it was quite hard to watch. Was it Just Us League?
Just Us League.
Just Us League.
Yeah, it's very exclusive. They're not very inclusive at all, which is why Eric Roberts' character attacked them in that icy snow palace, if you remember.
Yeah. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, he had like this really bright purple plant that
Yeah.
was supposed to like brighten the place up, but they did not appreciate it
I
at
know,
all.
he was trying to give them a gift.
Frankly, they're a bunch of snobs, and
Yeah.
I was quite disheartened watching that episode to see.
Oh my god, I just realized Bondage Knight is in that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Dark Knight is in it. Yeah, it's a different one, but you can recognise him from the pointy bits on his head.
That guy had a great voice, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a very great voice.
Yeah.
Paired very well with Eric Roberts.
Yeah, obviously.
But Eric Roberts played this massive yellow guy with a purple outfit, so he had style, much like the real Eric Roberts.
Can you Google the name? Because I can't remember.
Of what?
Because it was Mongoose?
No.
Because I remember it was kind of like the Mongoose bike.
Eric Roberts.
Just Us League.
Just Us Leak. Just Us League?
Oh, Justice League.
Apparently. I
But
don't
I
remember
didn't
it being
see
that.
where the Justice was.
No, I'm pretty certain it's Just Us League. This
Yeah.
this Google search is incorrect.
So what, did it say Mongoose?
No, it was Mongal.
So Mongoose, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, he didn't win at the end, which frankly I found unrealistic and made it very difficult to watch. But anyway, I don't know why how did we get to this? We were talking about Mr. Brightside. Oh yeah, because Eric Roberts is so generous with his time.
Yeah.
And he's in so many things. He likes to keep busy because he wants to create, and he's not really tied down to one massive project that takes years and years to be made. He just turns up,
That we
pops
know
his head
of.
in. Well, yeah, he could have been doing a massive project as
Yeah.
well. Do you know what? I wouldn't put it past him, actually, to be working on this massive project and at the same time, during his downtime, to just pop in on shows like SVU and Killer's music videos and this Just Us League cartoon.
Yeah. Let's talk about Miss Atomic Bomb.
Yeah, okay, because I've gone on a massive tangent there.
So, Miss Atomic Bomb is a continuation of Mr. Brightside. And what's really cool about this is that it has animation in it. And there's an animated Eric Roberts.
Now, this one actually looks like Eric Roberts. It's not like an 8-foot-tall yellow guy with orange eyes and a purple leotard. Imagine, though, if Eric Roberts was 8 foot tall and had orange eyes and wore purple leotards. I think that would be kind of cool.
To be fair, I'd probably still be a great fan of his.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could rock it. I think he could.
Yeah.
Easy.
Has he not?
I don't know. I'm going to have to Google this.
Yeah. By the way, because we were talking about Doctor Who last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did have some fantastic outfits in that as well, didn't he?
Oh, God, that was amazing. Like, there's one particular scene in that where if I could just if I were there, I would have taken a Polaroid of that just hundreds of times and just put it all on one wall. Art piece.
Are you referring to the bit where he's got like that all black bodysuit on with the orange headpiece and the black cape?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
You know I love camp.
Yeah, and he was very camp in that as well, wasn't he? Going,
Yes.
I always dress for the occasion.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get to this.
Yeah. I've lost track. So, Miss Atomic Bomb.
Yes. So it's a continuation of Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
And it goes through... It kind of goes through what's happened afterwards.
So after Brandon Flowers lost to Eric Roberts, and presumably he left without the girl.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he was going to propose.
Oh, that was sweet.
Yeah. There was a ring in his hand. Like, hello, will you marry me? No.
Spoilers.
Basically, it's mainly Brandon Flowers and this lady, and what it could have been, but didn't happen, and then it's very sad.
So all of the animated stuff is the stuff in his imagination. So them racing off together on a motorbike across the desert. The animated Eric Roberts kind of blowing him a kiss.
Of course.
That's kind of weird.
I don't think it's weird.
I think it is a little bit. He's like lamenting the loss of this love of his life. Because you didn't mention the most important thing, that it shows Brandon Flowers as an old man.
Oh, yeah.
Living
yeah.
living in a trailer in the desert, a dilapidated trailer, I might add. And he's thinking back on the great despair of his life, and that was losing checkers to Eric Roberts, and therefore losing the girl, because that's the rules of checkers. If you lose, you don't get the girl.
I bet you he never ate an apple ever again.
No, he probably did. I bet if he tried to eat an apple, it would just taste like bitter ashes in his mouth. He'd be like,
My Eve! My Eve!
yeah. Meanwhile, Eric Roberts is on his 6th apple of the day.
Obviously.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Tied it all together.
Last week's episode of this week.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So Brandon Flowers' character he's sad. He's lamenting his lost love. And there is a scene. Eric Roberts, the real Eric Roberts, does turn up as well.
I loved that.
Yes, it was very nice.
With a lovely old-fashioned car.
Yeah, and you see that this girl that was working in the bordello seems like she married him. Married Eric Roberts instead.
Yeah.
And she dances with him in their house, while Brandon Flowers stands in the street in the dark looking at their silhouettes moving against the curtain.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please do.
Eric Roberts did not look like he aged a day.
His hair was grayer, but facially he looked the same.
You better watch your mouth.
No, it's true, though. I mean, my hair's grayer every single day.
No, but, like, in terms of, like, from 5 years ago, I know I look like I've aged. But in that video, it doesn't... And that's not even... It doesn't have the filter that Mr. Brightside had on it. This is kind of like HD.
Yeah, whereas Mr. Brightside was shot on film, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it had that season 1 drag race filter. But this one, he's so, like, so good. Mm. And just, like, it's just his movements, because obviously he doesn't talk in this. It is just his movements, and just little things like the kiss and whatever, or like the hand gesture, the chin gestures and stuff like that. It was as if he had done that the day before for Mr. Brightside.
Well, I'm actually starting to think, after seeing these two music videos in succession, Eric Roberts may not have been acting. He just turned up and they just filmed him like... Yeah. I nearly said au naturel then, but that means something entirely different. Like a documentary.
Yeah. He was just be the cool guy that he is.
Which is just fascinating. Fascinating. So a question I had. So there's a section towards the end of the music video where he pulls out a letter from his pocket that this lost girl had
I hope this finds you well.
Yes, yeah. And it seemed to imply that she had gone out in the desert to run away with him, but he wasn't there. Mm-hmm.
Was he... Oh my God. Was he picking up an Amazon package?
No, I think he was probably trying to wash the taste of apple out of his mouth.
Okay.
I think that letter is imaginary. Yeah, because
I think it is too.
He's just making up excuses for why his life hasn't gone the way.
Because he could have had the girl.
Yeah, he could have done. He could have... You know what? He could have had a different girl and he would have been just as happy.
Yeah. Or, if he was so inclined, he could have rematched Eric Roberts.
Yeah, but that's kind of like, if you lose a boxing match to Mike Tyson in his prime, you don't go for a rematch, do you?
No.
If he thrashes you that badly.
I think it's just because I would love to meet Eric Roberts.
And play checkers.
I am terrible at chess and checkers. I would definitely lose. But I would just love to be in the presence.
Yeah, so the reason I bring up why I think the letter's imaginary is because it comes out of nowhere in his pocket.
Yeah.
And then there's also a shot later on where the letter slides under his door and then it just fades away.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that was meant to indicate the passage of time, say he just didn't notice it or he picked it up, put it in his pocket and didn't check it for decades. But I took it to mean that he was fantasizing about it. Although... Having said that section where she was waiting for him in the desert was not animated. It was live action with the real Brandon Flowers. So I'm not certain. Because he was waiting outside of their home while they were doing their little dance in the house, and she saw him outside.
Yeah.
And maybe she thought, now is my opportunity to abandon my husband and run off on a motorbike with Brandon Flowers. If that's true, then how dare she?
Yeah.
How dare she?
So, I'm going to tell you the ending.
Oh, okay.
The guy does not get the girl.
No, he gets old and decrepit and he sits in a trailer thinking about why his life sucks and he kind of blames it all on not getting the girl. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a lesson for us all there in that oftentimes life will not go the way that you think it should go. Mm-hmm. But you can't sit there and dwell on it and have that be, your primary focus and use that to dissuade you from doing anything else with your life. It's easy for me to say, but if you have a setback in life, you by all means be upset about it, be angry, be sad, express those feelings. Mm-hmm. But you need to move on at some point. Don't be Brandon Flowers sitting in his trailer in the desert going, God damn it, why didn't I move my checker piece the other way? Why did Eric Roberts have to be so cool? God damn Eric Roberts.
I feel seen. My PTSD has been seen. All right, so now that we've got those out of the way,
Yeah.
I thought we were going to end up talking a lot longer. So do you want to talk about the Law and Order SVU?
Well, why don't we save that for next episode? Because, I mean, we've really, as proper Eric Roberts fans, we should dedicate a single episode to a single topic to do him justice. So maybe next week we'll talk about his appearance on SVU. I'll give you a little background story. So for anyone that doesn't know what SVU is, it's a Law and Order show. It's a spin-off from the main Law and Order about the...
It's the better Law and Order.
Yeah, it's the one that's still going. It's been going for 25 years, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, maybe even longer than that now. It's about it's called for Special Victims Unit, and what they mean by special victims are victims of sex crimes. Yes. I was trying to find a nice way of saying that without saying it, but that's what it is.
Called.
Yeah.
And before they went to air, I believe it was like supposed to be like Law and Order sex crimes.
You can just see that on the pages of the Radio Times or the teletext. That's really dating me, and I think only Connor from Play Content will know what I'm talking about. Everyone else is just going to be like, "What the hell is that?"
For our American viewers, that's the TV Guide.
yeah. So, sorry, Mum, I can't go to bed right now. I'm going to watch Law and Order Sex Crimes. Can't have that. You can't have that. So, but saying, sorry, Mum, can't go to bed right now. I'm going to watch Law and Order Special Victims Unit. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no shame in that.
I don't know where you're supposed to be from.
Not here. But anyway, we shouldn't laugh about that because it's a very serious topic, and they are very honourable detectives helping some of the most victimised people that often get overlooked.
And I'm going to mention this and just intercept a little bit. A lot of and I've read the IMDb like 1,000 times, but I know this because I actually really like this show like a lot. A lot of the actors on that show are actually, counselors that can, counsel you in traumas that you would get from being, sexually abused. And I find that very admirable. And for something like a TV show, you think, okay, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to act. That's it. La-di-da-di-da. No, these people take it very seriously. And they are very, very... I can't say enough great things about Mariska Hargitay, because she's amazing. But this isn't about her today.
No. Remember, this is an Eric Roberts show. Maybe one day on an April Fool's episode you can do a Mariska Hargitay. I can't even say her name.
Hargitay. I can't say it either. I'm sorry, but she's so awesome.
Yeah, maybe April Fool's Day we'll do that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or a Dark Knight one.
Oh, come on. Who would listen to that? But the thing I really wanted to get to before we wrap up, because this is obviously the teaser for next time, I want to make clear that we're going to be talking about Eric Roberts' character on Law and Order SVU, not his character that appeared on Law and Order Criminal Intent. Law and Order Criminal Intent is a separate spin-off show that was not really a spin-off from SVU. That was 2001 to 2011.
Okay.
It ran for 10 years. Eric Roberts was in at least one episode as a domestic abuser, which I just can't even get my head around the idea of that. So
he plays...
Don't spoil next week's episode.
Oh.
But, yeah, so SVU appearance. So get your SVU, Law and Order SVU questions, particularly around the episode. I believe it's Victims or Victim. I'm going to have to double check that. Which, frankly, is a bit weird having the part of the title for the series be a title of the episode.
What season? Is that season 2?
It was season 2, episode 13. And do you know what? I'm just going to look up the air date for those of you that have got a photographic memory. First aired on the 9th of February 2001. So where were you on the 9th of February 2001? Let us know in the comments.
Probably Spanish class.
Yeah. I can't even think. I don't even know.
No. I was probably just like watching I Live Lucy or something. I don't know. Or watching this, to be fair. So yeah, that's it for today.
Any final thoughts on the music video appearances of Eric Roberts?
Yeah, leave some comments down below. And so what music video do you think Eric Roberts should do next?
Next?
Yeah.
Or I was going to ask a similar question, but different. That
Okay, what is your question?
if you could have Eric Roberts be in any music video, which music video would it
that's
have
a good
been?
Sex on Fire. by the Kings of Leon.
Okay, I was going to say Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Can you just
my
imagine
God!
him
Oh
in
my
the
God, yes.
in the dark and the silhouette singing along with
I'm
Queen?
just a poor boy. Yeah, so leave a comment down there. And now let's get to the comments.
So last week's episode was obviously about Eric Roberts in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to reading some of these Doctor Who comments. So we've got Lowell Lucas Jr. first. Says, wow, last time I was this early, Big Bad Harvey looked at me with thunder in the background. Totally shway here.
Who?
I don't know. Let's move on.
Who's Harvey?
What makes him big and bad? Do I want to know? Sounds ominous.
You know what? This sounds like one of the books I read.
Next we have The Phantasm, who says, oh wow, I really overdid it, I bet, with my comment about Two-Face. You probably didn't see it since Luke read the previous version, but I had actually edited the comment so it was less repetitive and added some different things. I also mentioned that, in case you were curious, my personal favourite Batman villain is the Riddler, in general, not in the DCAU. I also wanted to note that I normally prefer when his last name is spelled Enigma with an I, because I always thought it felt more appropriate and emphasises the Enigma comparison to his name. As for Catwoman, to clarify, I didn't say that I never enjoyed the DCAU Catwoman, and in fact, during TNBA especially, is when I felt she was the most like Catwoman. However, if you're ever interested in taking a look at what I think is the best animated adaptation of Catwoman, I really recommend revisiting the Catwoman from the Batman 2004 series, voiced amazingly by Gina Gershon. Gina was really incredible casting for Catwoman. In particular, I recommend the episode The Bat and the Cat from Season 1, Ragdoll to Riches from Season 2, which is my favourite Catwoman episode, and Rumours from Season 4. And as for what my favourite Catwoman designs are, for me the definitive look is the Darwin Cook design, but after that I also love the 90s purple suit with her hair coming out from behind. I also have a soft spot for the purple suit with the green cape. And her current look is pretty good as well. Now, unfortunately, the BTAS grey suit was never really one I particularly liked, which is unfortunately often extended to the BTAS depiction of the character as well, with some exceptions. And regarding the near apocalypse of whenever, I prefer it if there aren't exact dates. While I think sometimes it's best to have some things left as a mystery, if they ever want to do a story, I don't know why they wouldn't make a comic continuation of it similar to the Justice League Infinity. Since Ra''Al's Ghoul?
Let me see.
Yes, I mean Raish. Apparently he means Raish, but that says R-A''S.
Okay.
It's a fictional character, and even the writers couldn't decide, so at the end it's more of a personal preference, was heavily involved. Maybe it could be similar to Tower of Babel, but with a worse outcome. It could explain why Bruce is no longer involved with the Just Us League in his later years and in Batman Beyond.
Okay, so the two things.
Well, I think there's more than two things there, Mary.
Babel is a Brad Pitt movie, which I believe has Cate Blanchett in it. I think that was from like the 2000s. That doesn't have Eric Roberts in it.
No, I mean, to be honest, I'm not recognising any of this as anything to do with Eric Roberts.
Number two, what is BTSA?
Big things ahead, sir. That's my guess.
It's probably Eric's next film.
Big things ahead, sir. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's just move on. I found that a very confusing comment. Hopefully it made sense to some other people listening. I'm sorry if I'm just being stupid. Next comment we have Goodman 4966.
Hey.
Hello, Goodman. He's a new commenter.
Yeah.
I assume it's a him. I apologise for misgendered you. I just want to say I really enjoy you guys' content so far, as I'm a new viewer.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. Here at the Totally Eric Roberts podcast, we do try really hard to do a lot of research, and it's really great that you commented and took the time to do that. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. Screen Wiper is next and says, I was this video's 20-second like. Okay, cool.
Do you want to know what Eric Roberts' 22nd film was?
Yes.
Vendetta, Secrets of a Mafia Bride.
That was a TV miniseries.
Shit.
Had 6 episodes in it, so... Next, we have David Carney. He says, I'm with Mary when it comes to puppets. For me, it comes from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's season 1 episode with Sid. Every time I watch that episode, Sid still creeps me out. Regarding Two-Face, I love what Ram 5 has been doing with Two-Face in his recent Detective Comics run. Richard Mole is the best Two-Face ever.
Who is Two-Face?
Well, the only thing I can think of is Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight.
The Knight. Yeah. Oh my God. Are they talking about the Dark Knight?
Yeah, they could be.
We talked about that like 3 months ago, guys. It's okay to still comment on it, but I think we talked about the Dark Knight like 3 months ago, right?
Yeah, at least that. And as far as I'm aware, Aaron Eckhart is the only Two-Face.
I thought it was Two-Faced.
No, it's Two-Face.
Are you sure?
Yeah, there's no D on there.
Okay.
Play content. Hello, Connor says, hello, Luke and Mary. Totally
Hey, Connor.
shway yet again. Despite your dislike of suits, Luke, I recommend you try getting a BTAS Two-Face suit made for you the next time you go to the London-themed Batman restaurant. Now, hang on a minute. You will remember from our Suits episode about Eric Roberts' appearances in Suits. We don't dislike Suits. Suits is okay.
Yeah, the show is great. I know that Luke didn't like it as much as I did.
But that doesn't mean I dislike it.
But I just found Eric's performance so freaking powerful. And it just left a lasting impact. And I know that, you know, we have dad problems in the Mary neighborhood. But that doesn't mean we dislike Suits. We just... Therapy.
Continuing Connor's comment, that was hard to say. Unless the coin you use to determine your attire lands on the scratch side, in which case wear a normal suit and claim you're dressed as Boxy Bennett or someone. If the staff don't get the reference, they'd at least owe you a free starter. They really wouldn't, but still accept one if offered. Also, Mary, I don't think anyone would be disappointed in you for not watching Halle Berry's Catwoman. Given its reputation, people are more likely to be disappointed in themselves for watching it. Well, of course they will, because as far as I'm aware, Eric Roberts isn't in it.
What movie are they talking about?
Catwoman with Halle Berry.
I love Halle Berry, but I don't know what that movie is.
No, I'm not really certain either. This isn't the Halle Berry podcast. We don't know
Guys,
everything about Halle Berry.
I don't know what's wrong with everyone today.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're just going to have to explain these things to us, because if it's not related to Eric Roberts, then we don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
D. Fuxer says, I'd like to leave a comment for next week's episode, but I haven't a clue what you're referring to. Comment from me next week, perhaps. Make it good, Luke. Cough, cough. Sorry, have a good day. Well, I'm kind of surprised that you didn't really understand that we were going to be talking about the music videos of The Killers featuring Eric Roberts, because we were quite clear about it in the last episode.
Yeah, I think on the community post as well, we're going to talk about The Killers music videos featuring Eric Roberts.
And I did include links to the videos. So,
Yeah.
you could have done the homework, just watch them. It would only have taken 10 minutes. And then you could have left a really full and fulfilling comment full of amazing details that will take me at least 10 minutes to read. Speaking of, next comment is from regular commenter Michael Andre Parlon, who we lovingly refer to as Big Mikey P.
Yes, are you sure they're not talking about Big Mikey P when they were talking about... What were they talking about earlier?
They said Big Bad Harv. I don't think that's,
no,
the same person.
It's totally different, because Big Bad Mikey P is awesome.
He starts his comment with, I'm not Spartacus, I instead should be Maximus Decimus Meridius. Ha ha ha. Well... Okay, Gladiator reference. I understand that much, at least. Pertaining to your Smurf voice thing, if I have a voice filter, I'd rather use the Walnut Kurumi one from Lycroy's Recoil. I don't know what that is. Still, much as I'm probably a slight amateur at it, I could at least change my voice if I can, doing my best to make impressions of Jameson Price's Ace Combat 5s and Guy Sinner's Star Wars TIE Fighters respective briefing guys for a few examples. I know one of those things was a Star Wars thing.
I cannot do... Mikey P, I cannot do, different voices at all. I can't filter myself when it comes to voices. I'm either Southern Mary, Valley Girl Mary, or something in between.
I really wonder what happened if not tie-in comics happened in the months between Two-Face Part 1 and Part 2. Thoughts from you two plus viewer comments, occasionally reading these long-form comments.
We love your comments, Mikey P. Like, all joking aside, we actually really do love your comments.
He continues by saying, I'm more of a magical girl anime fan, even back then, not magic stuff, but I was or am a guy who preferred Kim Possible over American Dragon Jake Long, and also classic The Powerpuff Girls over Johnny Bravo. Although I'd rather recommend, say, Card Captor Sakura, Princess Tutu, Heartcatch Precure, and Mother Griffin Puella Magi Madoka Magica than Sailor Moon and even its manga faithful Crystal reboot for quality reasons.
Those are Japanese anime, aren't they?
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Had a liking for Power Rangers, but nowadays it's faded alongside my curiosity for G.I. Joe, Beavis and Butthead and Spy Kids. Can understand the big coin on the Batcave, but I still wonder why its size changes depending on the episode, let alone whether the Two-Faced goon survived being crushed by it from the introductory ep. Almost got him. The DCAU sure didn't hold a bit back when it came to denying saccharine optimism for the fates of Batman, his Robins, Batgirl, Two-Face, Mr. Freeze, and so on. Hey, what happened to Two-Face from JL versus the Fatal Five? As long as the costume choice isn't of the greasy and sometimes spiky Mad Max Fallout post-apocalypse kind, then I'm A-OK. Can anyone want to see Two-Face wear any of those things? Why do people keep talking about Aaron Eckhart? I'm not following.
Should we do an episode about Aaron Eckhart?
This is not totally Aaron Eckhart. Maybe we can do a spin-off podcast.
I mean, I don't know a lot about Aaron Eckhart. I mean, what I have... what is that movie with Eric's sister...
the one where he was a chef.
No. The one where she was like, their bibs, Ed. That one. Erin Brockovich.
Was Two-Face in that?
Yes. I think Aaron Eckhart was in that.
Okay.
I think he was the biker dude.
Oh, okay. Oh, did he have a handlebar moustache?
Yes, he did.
That really hid his disfigurement well, didn't it? Because you couldn't even tell half his face was missing.
No. How funny. See, it's Eric Roberts. The cooler Roberts can be connected to everyone. Y'all say that 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. No, it's 7 degrees of Eric Roberts.
So, pertaining to Mary's opinion on clothes making the person, there's a certain teaching character from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared web series that parallels it in a song, but for a topic quite different. Take a look at my hair. I use my hair to express myself. That sounds really boring. I use my hair to express myself. Can't recommend Halle Berry's Catwoman. It's worth the trash heap alongside the Steel movie. It's not the first person to mention Halle Berry today. I don't know what's with the Halle Berry.
Oh, is it because I told them I was a diabetic?
I don't know.
I think it probably is.
Nice Maroon 5 mention there. One should be quite selective with Frank Miller's works. He's like the late novel writers Michael Crichton and Tom Clancy for me. Those two started well with The Andromeda Strain and The Hunt for Red October, respectively, but every time I get to recommend their books to new readers, I'm afraid I'll admit that they peaked at Timeline and The Sum of All Fears Without Remorse, respectively, after which they appear to have gone overboard due to not being shackled by editorial constraints. Speaking of Francis Miller, what do you guys think of the acclaimed non-DC works like his Marvel Daredevil stint up to Born Again, Ronin, RoboCop vs. Terminator, and Sin City? I wonder if the original Roots has aged well. I'm really struggling to see the connection between RoboCop versus Terminator and Roots. Have I had like a brain injury? I'm starting to think I've had a stroke.
I'm assuming. Is this still Mikey P?
Yes, we're still going.
Mikey P, thank you so much for getting the Maroon 5 reference. When I said it's not always rainbows and butterflies, when I was talking about Eric Roberts not being the master in the newest Doctor Who TV show. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
I mean, this will be a future podcast episode, but he came back for Doctor Who audio dramas, where he did a team up with the other living masters, including Derek Jacobi, and I've forgotten her name, who's Missy. Doesn't matter. This isn't a master podcast. It's just something I happen to know. But anyway, I need to get through the rest of this. I'm not sure if this Big Bugman will be an instant classic. Sure, releasing it in full would be honourable, but I doubt it'll be as good as the production-challenged 2023 film Nimona. I don't know Nimona. Won't lie, Brendan Fraser's The Whale is a surprise to me. Heavy-handed and woefully criticised for perceived fat-shaming that isn't actually in the film. But Darn, my comment didn't appear here. Wait, if your comment hasn't appeared here, how am I reading it? Please tell me I didn't get censored for sensitive topics. No, your comment is still here.
Mikey P, you'd never get censored. And if you did, I would go back in time and get your comment, because they're actually some of my favorite to read.
Yeah, maybe you hit the character limit and YouTube would just like chill out. But it's here. I'm reading it. It's there.
To be honest, when the big makeup gurus were really popular on YouTube, I don't know if they are anymore, and I was asking questions and talking about animal cruelty with a certain big name, 3-letter word cosmetic company, I would lose the character count. Like, a lot.
And just to finish off the comments is yes. I assume that's yes.
Yes.
The near apocalypse of 09. I'm not quite sure why that makes you so enthusiastic, frankly.
Is this talking about the recession that was near that?
It's the only thing I can think of that happened.
But that happened in 08, didn't it?
Not even the equally offensive 7-hour war of Half-Life infamy. Isn't this quite vague? Yes, Michael, it is very vague.
Half-Life, the video game?
Yes.
I've played Portal.
This is a triumph.
The cake was there.
Frozen Jack says, I am Spartacus.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much, Mikey P.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, as ever. 128 Superior says, should have waited for episode 22. Well, you don't have to wait very long, because this is, episode 20? There's 2 more to go. So next, we have Zemox, who says,
Zemox!
I love Second Chance. It was one of the few Two-Face episodes that explored his character and his complex relationships with duality. Personally, I feel that the writers could have done more with the character, but they've devoted too many episodes to the Joker, who is overexposed and overrated in my opinion. The Joker overshadowed every other Bat-Rogue, and I find this very annoying. The spin-off comics do a much better job exploring Harvey after his disfigurement, and even revealed the origin of the coin. It is rather strange why most Batman cartoons and movies refuse to explore the true origin of the coin and its significance to Harvey. Why is that? I do not agree with the comment about Dent either. He is far more complex despite his one-dimensional appearances. The story from Gotham Adventures is a great example, as it also serves as a sequel to Judgment Day, and shows Harvey slowly falling apart, and it hurts to watch. The only problem is that most writers get lazy and do not try to explore Dent or the other villains in new ways and just go back to the Joker. I have watched the Halle Berry Catwoman film and it was rubbish. Why are people
the Joker
still talking?
Has Joaquin Phoenix in it. Is that
I'm so confused.
Are they talking about the Joker? Is there somebody named Harvey?
No,
Two-Faced?
I don't think so.
Whatever in the Joker, because that's not the movie I watched.
My brain is falling out of my ears.
I watched, the Joker was a movie about a clown that couldn't stop laughing and then danced on the stairs.
Yes, yeah, and he shot Bobby De Niro.
I know, which I'm still mad about.
But don't worry, it's all make-believe. It was just pretend. I've seen Bobby De Niro since then. He didn't have a hole in his head. It's all okay.
You've actually seen Robert De Niro?
Not in person. I've seen him in other things.
Are you sure it's not AI?
I hope it's not. That would be very disrespectful. Next comment is from Video Crow's Nest. Hello, Video Crow's Nest again. Thank you.
Love your name.
Yeah, Mary's a big fan of crows. Yes. And the crow with, I think it's Brandon Routh then. Brandon Lee.
Yeah. Oh, that's something I haven't watched in a long time.
Eric Roberts isn't in it, so we won't be able to watch it until we've finished all 700 plus of his films.
We're I think we counted, we're 215 down.
Well, by my count, this is only episode 20. Or are you just talking about other films that we've already seen?
That we've watched.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about TV shows.
Okay. Well, let's get on to Video Crow's Nest's comment. It says, I think Two-Face, among a handful of other Batman villains, suffers greatly from the constant need to return to the status quo. Sure, Harvey has his arcs, but even the last time we see him, he is reset back to the status quo with even more woes, in the form of a new persona, the Judge. While the road to recovery may sometimes feel like it's leading backwards and not be a straight path onwards, Harvey really gets held back by the need of the show to status quo mothball him for later use back into Arkham at the end of the episode. While some characters like Arnold Wesker, Scarface, managed to escape the event horizon of the status quo reset, there was no real way for Harvey, as one of the A-list villains, to make his escape velocity. Which is a problem comics and shows featuring rogues galleries of villains struggle to this day with. It slightly annoys me that the need to mothball villains for villain stories travels such a predictable path, when them making escape velocity from the status quo and struggling to put their past behind them can be just as interesting as yet another episode with them as the villain. Or as the example mentioned about Harvey offering to, on behalf of Montoya, to deal with someone to keep her hands clean. The capacity of villains to recover enough from villain to more morally grey and complicated characters is potential that should be tapped into, in my opinion. Especially considering how in some incarnations Batman's rogues share varying amounts of genuine respect for him, to the point they have at times come together to his rescue, despite it being clear that the next time they meet all bets are off again, which is a nice way to show the villain's humanity, even if crooked, as Bats has time and time again saved their lives despite being an opposing force. Only fair they return the favour once in a while. Plus I do like it when the rogues actually behave in a more civil manner at times, over just going in guns blazing. I would personally love to see a Two-Face centric episode or story where Harvey has recovered enough to be himself and is trying to move along, only for someone to end up injuring Bruce badly. It would put him in a very interesting position with a lot of difficult emotions to juggle, and also lets us get inside his head enough to see how his internal conflicts and feelings towards Bruce are. I'd also find it interesting if Harvey and Big Bad Harvey agreed on something good fully, that, for example, they both do not like how Bruce got hurt, but just have a major disagreement in how it should be handled, with neither being able to, even with a potential regression into the coin, albeit not as radically as before, to solve the dispute in methodology, even during their own ongoing investigation and sleuthing work in figuring out who did it. Harvey does have a skill set and intelligence from his days as a DA to figure these kinds of things out. Perhaps it ending with Harvey having managed to incapacitate and capture the actual culprits, only to find himself unable to solve the conflict of what to do with the culprits. As he sits on a damaged couch in a dark room in a run-down, dingy building, ruminating and feeling like he's failed both himself and Bruce, weapon rested on a table nearby. Until Batman comes in, the two have a genuine conversation about the feelings Harvey is going through, and a small time skip showing Harvey dealing with some aftermath narrated by his thoughts on it all, ending with him getting ready for an evening on the town as Bruce stands waiting for him in front of the apartment building with a hopeful smile, Kane at his side for a bit of theatre temporary support. Batman will still go on patrol tonight as he does, but right now what Harvey needs more is his best friend, Bruce.
I think we all need a best friend.
Especially if it's Bruce Campbell. RDP 16 Rules returns to us and says, hello, Luke and Mary.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going with you two? Time to discuss Harvey Dent, a walking embodiment of the phrase the good, the bad and the ugly. And no, I'm not referring to his physical appearance. Aaron Eckhart's not that bad.
Oh, you know what? I keep thinking of Aaron Eckhart, but I know who he is. I know he's a great actor and everything because he was in The Core. Mm. Obviously, one of, the Academy really missed out on that one. But I keep having Thomas Jane in my head. So when he said that, I was like, he had a whole TV show about him. So, yeah. I know who Aaron Eckhart is. I know he was in Thank You for Not Smoking and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, so he was.
But for some reason in my head today, I have Thomas Jane's image. The average Tom Jane.
So, continuing the comment, Harvey Dent is an interesting guy. For a character obsessed with the number 2, his 3 distinct personas, the district attorney, the criminal, and the judge, add a lot of depth to his character. One side wants to clean up corruption, fight for the underprivileged, and save Gotham. One thinks the only way to do that is to kill the criminal elite and go further than Batman will. And yet the other one, the most famous one, wants to rule the criminal underworld so he can control what criminals can and cannot do in Gotham. It's very sad that no matter what he does to change, to get better, Harvey cannot seem to avoid his criminal behaviour. Too many years spent fighting crime ultimately taught him how to be a better criminal, and honestly he would probably thrive in another city. And yet he, like many in Gotham do, cling to his city in a desperate attempt to make real change, and that's what makes him such a great foil for Batman. Sometimes, when all the lights are out and the only sound you hear are the traffic outside, your inner voice comes out and puts you down, makes you doubt yourself. Harvey deals with that voice every day, and some days he lets the voice take the wheel. It's a tough lesson to learn. How wild is it that a comic book character is the best look at a daily struggle for most people, and his failures act as what not to do for all of us. If we take the time to learn that lesson, we can benefit ourselves. Self-doubt is a powerful monster, my own personal big bad half substitute, and yet I can confidently say that I don't let that voice tear me down anymore, or at least it's not as bad as it used to be. Also, it's really sad that so many of Bruce Wayne's closest friends ended up as criminals. Harvey Dent, Hush the Phantasm, Lady Shiva, Catwoman. The guy cannot catch a break, and at least he has Commissioner Gordon and his wards. Now for some #totally shui questions. What is the bigger missed opportunity? Seeing Billy D. Williams as Two-Face in Batman Returns, or seeing Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face in The Dark Knight Rises? Both situations would have been fantastic, but The Dark Knight Rises would have been improved by adding Two-Face. I'm not sure if adding Billy D. in Batman Returns would have helped or hurt. Honestly, it would likely have affected the plot of The Batman more than anything. What are your thoughts? I mean, as we know, Aaron Eckhart is connected to both Eric and Julia Roberts, so that already puts him a peg ahead of everyone else. Wonder if Billy D. Williams has been in anything with Eric Roberts. We should probably know this.
Let's see. I love Billy D. Williams. Isn't he great?
Isn't he just? Next question. Did you like the animated version of The Long Halloween? Personally, I loved it, but I am aware that the slight changes from book to film do upset some people. Two-Face was fantastic in it, and it was a joy to finally see Jensen Ackles play Batman. So I am not familiar with this Long Halloween of which you speak with Aaron Eckhart.
I do love Halloween.
Yes.
Not the movies. Is that like not a great topic? Like, do people like not? Am I gonna get canceled for not liking the Halloween movies?
Yes.
Yeah, I love Halloween.
Yeah, good. That's not John Carpenter tapping at our window, going. Dun, 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 dun. That was my attempt at doing the Halloween theme. I'm sorry.
Me very not doing it.
Yeah, we're not a musical family, unfortunately.
Speak for yourself. My shower tends to think I'm a Grammy Award winner, a Brit Award winner.
Final question. Maybe this deserves a podcast all its own, or at least a separate video, but what's your opinion on Batman's no-kill rule? Should he keep it, or is it an outdated concept? Personally, I feel Batman refuses to cross that line. Just because I like Ben Affleck as Batman doesn't mean I agree with his actions in the Snyder films. Anyway, thanks again for reading and answering my questions. Have a lovely day. Well, what do you think about Christian Bale killing people? If he had that rule, then he would have killed Eric Roberts.
They're talking about like Christian Bale and Aaron Eckhart and everything, but I've not heard anybody say anything about Michael Keaton.
No, but that's because I don't think Eric Roberts was in any of the Michael Keaton movies. I don't think they're connected.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you know what has impressed me the most about these comments is that we haven't even done our Dark Knight episode yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we have. I've lost track, frankly. But they already know what we're going to talk about, which is weird. Can you guys tell me what the lottery numbers are going to be? It won't be this week's lottery numbers because by the time this episode comes out, the lottery to which I'm referring to will have already been drawn. So can you give me the lottery numbers for like a month from now? And now being the 1st of April.
So no killing is good. You know I don't like guns. You know I don't like seeing people in a bad way. I mean, it's a way of life, let's be real, because in the animal kingdom, it's be killed or kill.
Yeah, kill or be killed. Dog eat dog. But
those are for like wild animals and stuff, whereas although humankind are wild animals in a sense, it's not, it's inappropriate for us to kill each other for good reason, because we shouldn't do that.
No, probably shouldn't.
Let me repeat this for the U.S. government. We should not kill people. Just in case you're listening on that wiretap. Does that work on microphones? Like
yeah.
recording devices? Okay.
Yeah. Next, we have Iron Bison, who says, an episode where Luke talks about Two-Face and it's only 1 hour long. Say it isn't so, Luke. Are you from the future?
Yeah, because we've not. Like, I know we were going to talk about the villains of Eric Roberts' films, but how did you have... Can they see our Google Docs spreadsheet?
Oh, I hope not.
Because see, I planned that all the way, God, at the end of June. Mm-hmm. So I'm beginning to think maybe
we don't need to do that episode because it seems like they've all already heard it somehow.
Maybe we should do an episode about BATS. What is it?
I think it's a Korean pop band.
No, that's BTS.
Is that not the same thing?
I don't know.
Well, I'm very confused if it's
because
not.
I don't know the names of those people.
No, I don't either.
I'm sure they're wonderful and very talented, far more than I am. But I'm so lost.
Yeah.
More so than usual.
Okay, so next comment is from Captain Al says, hello, Captain.
Hey, Cap.
I give this episode of the Totally Shui podcast 2 thumbs up, and I can't wait to learn about the near apocalypse of '09. That really was a rough year, you know. I still have bite marks.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Cap. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, we all had to go through strange things to make ends meet during the financial crash, so, you know, hopefully it wasn't too traumatizing for you. He continues by saying, but I digress, we're talking about Two-Face. Everyone has definitive versions of characters and stories which live in our minds.
I'm leaving the room.
Why?
I can't talk about Two-Face anymore. It's not Aaron Eckhart. It's Eric Roberts.
And BTAS, the Korean pop band, has a special in that it moulded the definitive versions of so many characters for so many people. It is rare anyone reinvents such an iconic character with the same impact as this show, and while I have enjoyed many iterations of the character, it should be no surprise that the definitive Two-Face in my mind has always resembled that of BTAS, until Stephen and David Trumbull. I truly believe Batman Broken Promise was something sublime, and now when my mind reaches for that definitive Harvey Dent, I find myself appropriately torn between two of them. If I absolutely had to pick one, I genuinely would need to flip a coin. What other choice is there? If anyone reading this has somehow not heard Luke's interview with Stephen, or worse yet, not seen the animated short, please do yourself a favour sooner or later. I mean it. No compromises. No half measures.
Hi.
Mary's back. So... maybe I think what we've learned from this week's comment section is that we should do an Aaron Eckhart podcast.
Y'all don't listen. We explicitly said next week's podcast is going to be about Eric Roberts' appearances in The Killer's music videos, Mr. Brightside and Miss Atomic Bomb.
Yes.
Not The Dark Knight.
That one's coming up in the future.
Yes! Which I don't know how you guys figured this out.
I feel like we're being bullied into talking about The Dark Knight.
This whole comment section. I love all of you very, very much, but come on, man. Whoever this Two-Face is, because apparently I think he's another character too, because you're talking about so many different things, and then Billy D. Williams comes up, who's an angel. I mean,
you probably didn't hear this because you left the room, but Captain Al seemed to be suggesting that Two-Face was part of a Korean pop band as well, so maybe we need to look into that. I don't know. Aaron Eckhart is very clearly very talented, all right?
God! Should I start listening to K-pop? I need to know. Can you please give me some advice on this? If Aaron Eckhart is a good singer, I'm willing to give it a try. But can we please talk about Eric Roberts?
But what are we going to talk about next time?
We're going to talk about Law & Order SVU.
Okay, good, because I've completely lost track of everything, so I'm glad. Oh, yes. He was in Criminal Intent as well. That's right. Earlier I said
But not
we're
the
not
same
going to talk about that.
character.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. So
Yeah.
no Law and Order Criminal Intent questions, please. It's just SVU and only his episode. What was it called? Victims?
Something like that.
Yeah, only questions relating to that episode. And please keep your questions related to Eric Roberts. All right, so now that we've established what's going on next time, Mary, do we have anything else we need to talk about before we go?
Guys, I love you very much. But stick to the cooler, Robert.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
April Fools!
If you would like to hear the real replies to the comments today, go on our Facebook group. It's Serum Lake Viewers. It's a public group on Facebook. I know, I'm old. I'm using Facebook still. But if you want to hear that, and yeah, I hope you guys have a really lovely day. And thank you for listening. And yeah, have a great, great, great week.